Hey there, you wonderful listeners. I have a question for you. Do you want to make a podcast? Well, Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place and for free. How can you beat that? It's called Spotify for Podcasters. And here is how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, there are Q&A and poll options available, and those are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it has made doing my shows like the Steam Machine Podcast, Yabs Pod, and the JRPG Report much, much easier to do. Like being able to just go on there, record them, upload it, boom, it's done. I don't have to pay for a site service to host or anything like that. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend that you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
Welcome to the Steam Machine Podcast. With your hosts, Dalton and Ryan.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and this week, it's just me, the lonely old me. Our buddy Ryan is feeling under the weather, and I didn't want to bug him with coming on and trying to, be entertaining for everybody while also simultaneously feeling like absolute dog shit. So I told him, don't worry about it, I got it covered. Especially since there was a mishap this week, which I will get into. Again, it seems like we just keep having whoopsies, but it is what it is. So basically what happened was Ryan had a busy week at work, so he didn't get a chance to try the game until about Thursday night. Well, when he went to install Far Cry 4, it wasn't in his library. Now, many of you know, and some of you, if this is your first episode, you might not know, we mostly use the games from my Steam library, and we do a family share. And apparently, some of the games that use Ubisoft's third-party DRM with Steam don't work for the Steam library share. So that basically left us to cut some games out in a way, for now at least. I'm going to leave them on the list, but if they come up, I'm going to have to roll it again until Ryan can get those games for himself. Far Cry 5 being one of them, which is weird because New Dawn, he can still play New Dawn, but he can't play 5. It's very, very strange. Let's see, what else would I like to touch on here in the beginning? Shout out to GameStop and all that's going on with that right now. Fuck hedge funds and all of that jazz. They can eat a dick. So I'm really proud to see what the internet and Reddit is doing right now with sticking it to those guys with the GameStop stocks and all of that jazz. I did not add many games this week. I think I grabbed a couple free old games from GOG, like Beneath the Steel Sky, a few games like that. Other than that, nothing too much added. So let's go ahead and just get to the game this week. I played Far Cry 4, and what a cool game. I didn't beat it. I got pretty far, but I did not beat it. I was probably a little bit of my ways into Act 2. But here's some obligatory Wikipedia bullshit. Far Cry 4 is the fourth game. Who'd have guessed that, right? Jesus Christ. In the Far Cry series, the game is set in the fictional country of Kyrat, located in the Himalayan mountains. It was released on November 18th, 2014, worldwide for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. And it had some DLCs that were released. It was like Escape from Durgish Prison and the Valley of the Yetis. And then also there was, I think, Herc's Redemption DLC, which, God, Herc is awesome. He is hilarious. He reminds me a lot of Hank Fist, and if you're a fan of Factory Sealed and those guys over there, you will know exactly who Hank Fist is. And if not, then I urge you to go check out Factory Sealed Retro Gaming Podcast or Factory Sealed Side Quests. Either show, those guys are fucking fantastic. So my first experience with Far Cry 4, I had it for PlayStation 4 back in the day, and I never beat it, but I got pretty damn far. I got close to the end, but I think I remember having an issue where I could not beat some of the stuff at the end of it. And I'm going to continue playing this in my own time and just to beat it and finally see the ending. But I didn't think it warranted 2 episodes. You know, it's kind of just another run-of-the-mill Far Cry game. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just Far Cry games kind of have well, I guess technically Ubisoft games in general, because Assassin's Creed does the same thing. They have kind of a general formula of you go and you find the towers, you climb the towers, you open up the new areas, you go and do side missions, and you clear objectives. But I really think it's cool. This one in particular, when I loaded it up on PC and I was able to crank the graphics, oh man, is this game fucking gorgeous. Gorgeous. I absolutely just was astonished. And I spent, I don't know, probably a good at least 4 hours of the gameplay that I put in just driving around, hunting, and just taking in the sights, you know, going up on top of these giant mountains and then wingsuiting off and just flying around and just taking everything in because it was just so pretty, everything. A couple of stories that happened to me. Well, we'll start off with, as you, like I said, you are AJ Gale, or Ajay Gale, as some people call you in the game, and you are going to Kyrat to spread your mother's ashes. Unfortunately, she wants you to spread them in the north of Kyrat, but that is locked off behind Pagan Min's regime, I guess you would say. Now, when you first show up, you're introduced to Pagan Min, and I mentioned this, I think, on the end of the last episode, but if in the beginning of the game, you come in, you're kind of introduced in a very dramatic way. Like, he comes up, and this guy's like, I told you not to shoot the bus, and the guy looks at Pagan, and he's like, sir, you know, what, and Pagan's like, I always speak and say what I mean, basically is what he says, and then he stabs the dude to death. And then he complains about how he got blood on his fucking shoes. And then they put a bag on your head and put a bag on the guy next to you's head, and they take you off to his dinner. Well, it turns out the guy that was with you is a member of the Golden Path, so Pagan stabs a fucking fork into this guy's shoulder and then makes him scream for help, but obviously no one's going to hear him. And then they take him to torture him, and he tells you to wait 15 minutes or so. He'll be back, and they can handle. He is very sorry for all of this, and they will be able to handle their business. Now, if you wait that 15 to 20 minutes just sitting in this room, he will come back, and then you guys will have a conversation. You'll go and you'll spread your mother's ashes, and then the game's over. You can end the game right there, which is just a cool little Easter egg to find. It's like somebody, I know, like the first person to just be like, I'm just gonna wait around and see, like, if he actually comes back, and then he did, was probably like, holy shit. So I don't know, I thought that was really cool. And I know they did something similar for the beginning of Far Cry 5 as well. So obviously I did not do that. I ran out and escaped and went and started exploring the world. You know, you join the Golden Path. You have 2 choices. You have Sabal and Amita. And I tend to lean towards Sabal more. I mean, he wants to bring the country back to the way it was, the way your father wanted it and had it running. Amita wants to do a lot of things, but she wants to, like, get into heroin and stuff like that. And I'm just like, nah, you know, I'd rather burn the opium fields than, I don't know. Even if, well, she made me feel bad because she was, like, talking about making medicine out of it and opening clinics and making money. But, you know, it's just not the way that I would personally go about it. But yeah, I mean, I did a few story missions here and there, but I spent most of my time getting in a little buzzer, which is like the one-person helicopter, and I flew around to all the towers and then climbed up the towers and opened up the new areas, and then I would fly to the different bases around the map and try to take them over without being detected. Now, I was successful probably about 50% of the time. The other 50%, what can I say? I was getting bombarded, and there was no avoiding them seeing me. But I will tell you this, I have written down. I went into this one base, and I threw some Molotov cocktails where their opium flowers were, and I spooked an elephant. And because there's all kinds of wildlife, which I'll get into in a minute, but I spooked an elephant, and this elephant went on a rampage in this base and killed everybody. And I got credit for taking over the base undetected, and I was like, fucking score, because you get extra experience and rewards for completing the base undetected. Jesus, I had a brain fart there for a second. So as far as the animals go, man, there are different wildlife. Like, you're in Asia, so there's all kinds of stuff, man. There's like different kinds of deer. There's wild hogs. There's regular pigs. There's wolves. There's dholes. Rhinoceroses, which I have a story about a rhino. So I am driving along, and I come upon where these guys have a hostage on the side of the road. I'll call them the Imperials. I don't think that's what they were called. The Empire, basically. So the Empire has these guys hostage. So I roll up and I kill the Empire guys and save the hostages. About this time, a supply truck comes driving through, and you're supposed to capture those, right? So I turned around, draw my pistol, shoot the driver as he's coming by. Just like perfect timing. I'm telling you, this whole thing played out like a movie scene. So I shoot the driver. He comes falling out. I get into the supply truck and drive it up out of the way so I can then go back and see if the guys are going to give me a reward for saving them or anything, and untie them. And here comes two more trucks with enemies. So I'm getting into a shootout with them, and then another truck comes from behind me and parks on the side of me. Well, I turn and I shoot one of those guys and go back to shooting at some more guys that were coming up, and I get hit by a flying truck from the right of me. Just boom, and it knocks me down, takes almost all my health away. So I use the heal button, and I look to my left, and there's a rhinoceros standing there, and he charges the truck again, and he hits the truck and just sends it flying off this fucking cliff. So I'm immediately like, oh shit. So I pull out my shotgun and just start unloading shells into this thing, and it took all the shells I had and then a couple pistol rounds, but I finally dropped the rhino. But that thing threw a fucking truck at me. It was insane. Well, all the while I'm still having a shootout with these other dudes down the road. It was wild. And then not long after that, I went back and I refreshed my ammo supply and all of that at one of the home base type areas, and was walking down the road looking for a vehicle, and then one of the enemy's guys started coming up with a truck. So I'm looking at it, and as they get up to me, they spot me, and I just pulled my shotgun out, and there was a guy in the driver's seat, a guy in the passenger seat, and a guy in the back looking through the back window. And I just fired one shotgun shot, boom, into the truck, killed all three of them. It was so satisfying. It was so satisfying. It's also very satisfying to roll up on a base itself and just start, because you can hold 10 grenades and 10 Molotovs, or at least that's what I could hold at the time, and just chucking grenades and Molotovs into these bases when these dudes start freaking out because they don't know where you're coming from, because I would just run around the outside and just chuck them from all directions, and it would cause some much deserved chaos to these fucking assholes in these places. Or if they've got caged animals, man, you walk up in there and you shoot the cage and open it and then let the tiger out, which, by the way, Bengal tigers in this game will fuck you up. But the single most dangerous animal in this entire game is the honey badger, without a doubt. The honey badger, it's small, it's fast, and it does a ton of damage, and good luck hitting that thing with an arrow. And that's how you get double skins. So there is a purpose to hunting animals. You get their skins, which you can then use to craft things to upgrade your weapon holster, so you can hold more weapons. Your wallet, so you can hold more money. Your syringe count, your loot bag, your meat bag, your grenade count. All of those you upgrade with animal skins. And aside from the weapon holster, which you can get from regular skins, all of the other ones you can upgrade twice, but then in order to get the final skin, you have to do the Kurat Fashion Week quests. And the Kurat Fashion Week quests are quests to hunt special animals to get their, the special skin from them. And they can be tough. They can be real tough. What else? I mean, that's pretty much Far Cry 4 in a nutshell, man. Run around, shoot shit, take over bases, loot, repeat. But I recommend it highly. I thoroughly enjoy it. I'm going to keep playing it in my spare time. I think I'm going to put Skyrim down for a little while. I know, I know everyone gasped. I could hear it worldwide. But I think I'm going to give Skyrim a break for a little bit. I played the shit out of it, as you guys know, for a long time. And I don't want to burn out on it because I've still got a lot of my museum to go. So I'm going to pause on that for maybe a month or two. And the mod list that I used when I used Wabbajack to mod it is now been put into retirement. So if I ever want to remod my game, I'm going to have to pick a different one or do it all myself. So at this point in time, I don't think I'm going to change my mod list. I think I'm going to leave it the way it is so nothing gets fucked up and it stays like that. So I'm going to, this has only been like 15 minutes, man. So I'm going to try to ramble on a little more for you guys. I've also been playing Hades at the request of the Tadpog Discord and people in the Steam Machine Discord. They were like, dude, you got to try it. You got to try it. So I finally was like, all right. I have it. I'll load it up. So I loaded it up and I started playing it. And it was pretty fun. I'm not going to lie, it was pretty fun. The first night I played about 2 hours, and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. I can see why they like it. So a couple nights go by, and then I'm like, I think I'm going to load up Hades again and give it another shot. It was about midnight. I said, I'll play for about an hour, then I'll go to sleep. Well, about 4:30 in the morning rolled around, and that was about when I quit. I put about 4.5 hours into the game that night, and what a fucking fun game. Holy shit, do I have a blast with it. Spear for the win, with the boons that extend the attack distance and your damage, and the one that, oh man, is it Dionysus that gives it to you? It's that makes your opponents kind of drunk when you hit them. That seems to help me. I don't know if it really does or not, but it seems to. But the distance extender and anything that boosts your damage, and then you take that spear, dude, you can keep a good distance between you and your enemies, and that is like the key to staying alive from what I have found. But yeah, man, I'm thoroughly enjoying that as well. Fan-fucking-tastic. What else should I say? Oh, at the prodding of our lovely members in our Discord, we have started a Patreon. And I believe it's patreon.com/Steam Machine Podcast. If it's not, I will edit that, but I will be putting the link in the show description, so it should be there where you can find it along with our social media and all that jazz every week when you download your episode in the description. But I tried to be fair. I did a $1 tier that's going to get you any of the bonus episodes that we put up there. And if I, like when me and Ryan kind of bullshit before we do the normal episode, I'll be putting the unedited version of those up on the Patreon as well, if I can get that figured out and OBS doesn't fuck with Audacity too much. We'll see about that. And then, but we're also going to be doing extra episodes, which I think we're going to call Steam Machine After Hours for now. We might come up with something else. And there's going to be like other things. Like I'm going to do probably story times where I just tell ridiculous stories from my life because I have been through some shit, ladies and gentlemen. I have. And that'll be fun. So $1 will get you all of that. $10 a month will get you all of that. Plus, we will read your name at the end of each episode, just to put it out there and just be like, because I think I called it the cogs, because you guys would be the cogs that keep the machine rolling, because any of the money that we get from Patreon is going to go back into the show and help me pay bills. I'm not even gonna lie, because I am currently out of work, so anytime I'll be able to put money back into the show, and if we're doing well, then I might help put some of that towards my light bill. But for the most part, it's going to be going towards new microphones, more acoustic foam to give us better audio sound, better recording software, all that kind of jazz, and new games, which brings me to the third tier. And we might expand, but I think I'm just going to leave it at these 3 tiers for now. The third tier is $20 a month, and we don't expect anybody to pay $20 and keep it on $20. This is the tier that you will pay $20 and you will be able to choose a game from our extensive list of games that we are playing through and bump it up to the next episode or the episode after, however it works out. And if you have the means, which if you have access to Discord and a headset and some mic, like a mic, or like a headset with a mic built in, you are more than welcome to guest on the episode with us, which I think would be really fun. And like I said, I don't expect somebody to put that as their donation or their Patreon patronage, whatever you'd want to call it, and leave it like that. If you want to do that for a month and then bump it back down to $1, we totally understand. But it blows my mind that anybody wants to give us money in the first place. We already have a $1 Patreon, and our buddy Taylor. So he has been listening since the beginning, as far as I know. I know he's not very active on social media and stuff, but he's popped into the Discord, so we appreciate having him around, and I appreciate your patronage, as they would call it. The $1 tier, you are the oil that greases the machines, good sir. So we would appreciate, check that out. If you have the means, and if you don't, by all means, if you don't have the means, do not give us money. But if you do, and you would like to help the show out, check us out. Patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. So I ran Steamy, and before I went live here, and he gave me 93 on our scrambled list. And when I checked 93, I was giddy with excitement because I read that it was Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age. And I'm excited because I haven't played Final Fantasy XII in years. I've never finished the Zodiac Age at all. I owned it on PS4, but I barely played it. Most of my experience comes with the game from PlayStation 2 days. And I happen to know that Ryan has never played this Final Fantasy. And seeing as that this is basically Final Fantasy's version of Star Wars, in my opinion, I made Ryan promise me that he will not skip cutscenes, that he will come back and he will have watched the cutscenes, because I am convinced that this is going to take his spot as at least his number 2. It might even be his number 1 favorite Final Fantasy. It might overtake 8, but I know personally that that's a very hard thing to do. But I'm really looking forward to Final Fantasy 12. Those characters are awesome. The story is awesome. I can't wait to dive into the job system and really get into the deep end sense of it and all of those monster hunts, man. Fuck yes. If you would like to find us on social media, you can go to facebook.com/Steam Machine Podcast, or if I head on over to Twitter at Steam_podcast, or if Facebook groups are more your thing, the Steam Machine Podcast Lounge is our group on Facebook. You're more than welcome to come join and talk some video games or life, about anything, man. Share some memes. We like to laugh, so hit us up with anything, man, if that's what you like to do. Or you can check us out over on Discord, as I think the link is posted and pinned on our Facebook group and our Facebook page. So if that's more your thing, or you can hit me up on Twitter and I'll give you the link. I do not know the URL for it to give it out, but I should figure that out and come back, and I'll have that at another time. Also, if you want to buy a shirt, we've got 2 podcast shirt designs out there now. I am currently wearing my Steam Machine Podcast shirt that I got, and I also got a gator for those colder days and for when I'm going out in public and want to be masked up, keep myself safe from the bullshit that's been going on. You can head over to threadless.com and search TSMP Productions, and you should be able to find us. And the link is also pinned at the top of our Facebook page as well. So, and I will post it in the show description with all the other jazz. So if you are interested in that, check it out. I know we've had a few people buy shirts, and I couldn't be happier about that. And I really want to do something special and put together a collage or something with people that are wearing our shirts, because it just fucking blows my mind that people like us enough that they want to represent us like that. So I can't thank you enough. This has been my baby that I started, and Ryan has been very fucking nice and helpful with being my co-host and playing these games with me, and I really hope that he starts feeling better soon for him and his family. I just want him to feel better, and we can get the show back on track the way it was. We all miss him. I miss him. I know you guys do, because just hearing me sitting here and rambling for 25 minutes is got to be grating on the ears. Although apparently I have a nice voice from what I'm told by everybody. But I don't hear it. Anyways, I'm rambling now. I love you all. For the Steam Machine Podcast, I'm Dalton, and as always, take it easy.
You can find us at facebook.com/The Steam Machine Podcast, or search Facebook and join our group, the Steam Machine Podcast Lounge. You can also find us on Twitter at Steam_Podcast. We thank everyone for listening, and as always, we'll catch you next week.